Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's your boy Ashley Knuckles representing MandatoryDefense.com. Check me out. So, the fight that I'm here to talk about today is the potential fight with Gervonta Tank Davis versus Tevin Farmer. It looks like that fight is no closer to being done. As it stands, the fight has fallen short in negotiations. Leonard Ellaby, who represents the CEO of Mayweather Promotions, has posted on Twitter that he's made an offer to Tevin Farmer, Tevin Farmer's team. Some say it's to the tune of $2 million, which is, according to his words, by far the biggest purse he would have ever have made up until this point. And Tevin Farmer would tweet and retort that Eddie Hearn also made an offer to Tank Davis to the tune of $5 million. Do we know if any of these figures are valid? No, we don't know. We haven't seen any term sheets. We haven't seen any contracts as far as public, and we probably shouldn't, because that's something that should happen behind closed doors in negotiations. This is a fight that the boxing fans do want, not necessarily because it's the best fight at 130 pounds, but due to the fact that they had a confrontation in Vegas. I believe it was maybe a year ago, when Tevin Farmer walked up to Gervonta Tank Davis and issued a challenge. I believe at that time Gervonta Davis had the belt that Tevin Farmer has now, which is the IBF. But since then, Gervonta Davis has lost that title on the scales and then went on to win the WBA Super Featherweight Championship of the World, and Tevin Farmer went on to win the IBF strap. So the fight makes a whole lot more sense now than it did back then. It would represent a unification fight. As we see, the champions are fighting each other right now, so it's a good thing. So I believe if the fight falls or fails due to negotiations, that would be terrible. You got some people that are sticklers for fighting on the zone because of the fact that it's owned by billionaires. But I don't hold it against the promoters that are around that are skeptical about an app when they have tried and proven TV networks that have been around for years doing pay-per-views through the Tyson eras and the Sugar Ray Leonard eras. And, you don't have to worry about the unpredictability and the possibility of failure to occur if you sign yourself on to an app that just came into the fight scene most recently. But anyway, my take on this is this. We've seen this 100 times in the sport of boxing. You got one fighter whose star is beginning to really shine. It was on Forbes that Tank is on pace to be a pay-per-view star if you go about the recent trends in his viewership and the fact that he could sell out in his hometown, sell out the arena. And no disrespect to the IBF champion, but he doesn't have that track record behind him. So in this particular instance, you have Eddie Hearn issuing challenges and throwing out figures based on the market value of a fighter that he just does not promote. And it don't go like that. It don't go that way in the sport of boxing, because you're the one that's begging for the fight. And Eddie Hearn, if you have all these figures, then why does Tank's name need to be a part of the promotion for Tevin Farmer to get those big purses? So we all know who's really in control here in these negotiations. And that's just the way things go in the United States in terms of business in the sport of boxing. As much as boxing fans don't like it, neither do I, but there is an A side and a B side. But in return, it seems as if we're going to get a potential marquee fight with not Tevin Farmer, but with Tank Davis and Leo Santa Cruz, who is a 3-division world champion. At this point, he currently campaigns within the featherweight division, and he's issued his challenge to Gervonta Tank Davis in the past, and he's going to be moving up in weight 4 pounds to issue that challenge for possibly an opportunity to win a title in this fourth division. And if we can't get the Tank versus Tevin Farmer fight, this still represents a big fight. It's 130-pound champion versus a 3 division world champion, a guy who is currently a champion at featherweight right at the moment. And this is a bigger fight actually because unlike Tevin Farmer, Luis Santa Cruz is well traveled. He's fought in California and Vegas. He does pretty decent crowds in those particular states. He's also more accomplished as a fighter, and I believe the only loss that he has on his ledger was to a guy named Carl Frampton, who's no slouch himself, and that particular defeat was avenged. So this is a big fight. It's a bigger fight. It's a fight that's easier to make. It's a fight where the managerial advisor is the same people as far as Tank Davis and Leo Santa Cruz. And it's also a fight that they both want. It's also a fight that can make a lot of money for the fighters, which boxing fans should be more concerned with anyway. Not where the promoters are getting their way at the negotiating table. So I'll take that fight. But, it's not the end of the world for Tevin Farmer. There are other fights for him at 130 pounds. You got your boy Ashaki Foster, the WBC silver champion, waiting at the bit, chomping at the bit to get his hands on Tevin Farmer, Miguel Burchelt, Gervonta Tank Davis, and anybody who represents a significant step up in class and get them closer to a title shot or that represents a world title shot. So I like to see any one of those fights. I also would like to see Gervonta Tank Davis versus Santa Cruz, at least in that particular fight. A guy that Tank Davis blew out of the water didn't defeat the other guy like it was in the Tevin Farmer situation. Tank Davis beat Jose Pedraza, who's no slouch himself. But Pedraza beat Tevin Farmer years ago, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. And I guess that would add a little bit of intrigue to that particular fight because since then, Tevin Farmer has gotten significantly better. And he does have that Philadelphia grit. So that fight is on the table still. I mean, these guys aren't going anywhere. They're not approaching an age where retirement is at the forefront. So we'll just have to see what happens on that. But if I got to take a Santa Cruz Davis fight in the place of Davis and Farmer at the moment, I'll take that fight, and you probably should take that fight too. But that's all I got for you right now. It's your boy Ashley Knuckles. Shout out to the LDBC, and I'll get back with y'all in another video. Peace. If you like the content that you just seen in this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the icon button. Also, stop by MandatoryDefense.com where the ring sorts out all the facts for your latest news and updates and views in the sport of boxing. Stop by Facebook.com/ComeOutFighting, like the page. You can also follow Ashley Knuckles on Twitter at A Puncher's Chance. I appreciate you for stopping in. That's all I got for you. We all go through pain.